In this tutorial, we're going to be talking about the straight line path. We know it as the level crossbar. Why do we want a level crossbar? Why do we want the tip to follow in a straight line path? It's all to do with loop shape and making sure that the shape of the line is as straight as possible in the same way that we want an arrow or a bullet to cut through the air. We want the top leg and the bottom leg of the loop to be compressed and aerodynamic. We talked about the forward delivery, creating a triangle and stopping the rod on the same angle as the forward cast as on the back cast. And that creates a nice high back cast, a nice high forward cast, and it creates this sort of tunnel, this funnel of straight lines above us, and that gives us what we call tight loops. What happens if we bend that crossbar above us? Let's have a look. Let's get some more line. I've got approximately, let's say 20 feet, 22 feet of line out of the tip right now. And I'm going to make a forward cast, but I'm going to bend the crossbar in a dome like this. I use open stance. I've got a fairly long line out the tip. Make a nice high back cast, and then, you see that? The rod tip, instead of following in a straight line path in a flat crossbar above us, I started the back cast here and I broke the rule. I created this dome effect. Let's have a look again at what that does to the line. Nice high back cast. See that? It pulls the line out of the sky. It basically breaks the loop entirely, and all we've got is a sort of mess of line, a spray of line throwing up in the air and then collapsing down onto the ground, and it creates a collapsed leader. Show you again. Nice high back cast, all working well. And then we dome this forward cast. We break the rule of the straight crossbar and we give it a big dome like that. And we know from previous tutorials that the fly line follows the path the rod tip takes. So if the rod tip draws a dome path, the fly line is going to do the same. What happens if we dip that crossbar like this? Let's have a look. Same again, I'm going to make a nice high back cast. I'm going to create the perfect situation for the back cast, but then I'm going to scribe this dip. See that? Does the same thing. The fly line follows the path the rod tip takes, and all that's done is created this scoop of fly line, and it did exactly the same thing. It just scooped, did a ramp up in the air, and then fell down, fluttered back down to the ground. Show you again. Nice high back cast. And then it's falling down like a parachute. So, we want a nice high back cast and a nice flat crossbar, which creates these nice tight aerodynamic loops which fly out and land nice and straight. Now let's talk about loop shape. We don't always want really tight loops. You can get tangled, especially if you're using a sinking line or big flies. Sometimes you want to open them up a little bit. To do that, we're just going to break the horizontal rule a little bit. Here's the horizontal crossbar, and instead of stopping the rod here, we're going to stop it just here below. Not down here and drag the line out the sky, just here. Let me show you what that does. Nice high back cast. And just stop a little below the crossbar. There you go. Nice high back cast. Nice, open, safe loops. Now, the wind's just started to blow, and those loops aren't cutting through the wind as well. So now I need to close those loops and make them more tight, more aerodynamic. And all I'm going to do is stop the rod tip on the horizontal crossbar. And now we've got tighter loops, like that. the ability to change your loop shape is just another extension of loop control. And if we have loop control, we can build on that and add, say, something like the double haul, which we'll be learning later on.
Yeah, okay, I'm filming.
Filming, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, now I'll do loop shape. You could have helped by putting the fucking hand
No,
in front of the lens.
That works.
You prefer that, do you? Funky wind. All right, we'll see how that goes.